their orders.
In the times that it's been a long time that you've been talking on this subject, and as part of the discussion, I think the last time you talked about information and people and has they changed when they learn more information. In your time, have you seen any information that's changed your mind along the way? If I went back and heard you talking on this subject 20 years ago, are you talking any different today?
You mean information that changed my mind from what I originally believed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Now, as you're probably aware, I'm old enough to have watched the moon landings live. And I thought it was an incredible achievement. I thought this is a wonderful scientific result. It involved a lot of people. The figure normally given is 400,000.
No, I'm not talking about with regard to the actual what you've seen it originally and believe that it actually happened. I mean, since you started talking about it being a hoax and questioning what actually took place, which you've been doing over a period of 20 years, yes?
Yes.
Have you changed? Has there been anything that's come out since then? Because obviously over 20 years there's been a lot more technology that's come out there. I mean, you're probably going to know about this, but I'll make a specific reference to something that I've seen on YouTube by some group called NVIDIA.
Yep, NVIDIA.
Yeah. Wow.
Well spotted.
So, and they're coming like, you know, we're a useful organization, we're highly technical, we've got all the resources that we need to reconstruct that moon landing situation and debunk, that's the word that was used, debunk some of this information that's being put forward, that stating that the moon landing is a hoax. Now there's one thing that they've actually gone to that trouble. I know it's probably I don't know when it first was put up there to actually challenge the theory. That means the theories must be getting quite strong for them to put something out to challenge it. But what was your thoughts on their study?
What, when I was approached by NVIDIA?
Have you spoken to NVIDIA?
Right. I was originally approached by NVIDIA to take part in that film clip they made.
Oh, okay.
They'd seen some of the talks I'd done, and they thought I'd be a good person to help support their contention that there wasn't anything wrong. If I could be convinced, a lot of other people would be convinced.
All right. Okay. Let me get comfortable for this. Go on.
So they approached me and asked me if I'd take part in their investigation. What I discovered was happening, this was after, once I started looking into it. Basically, NVIDIA, if anybody who's not familiar with the company, they make graphic processors for computers. So if you can play a DVD in your computer, you're probably playing it through a NVIDIA processor.
Okay.
That's their business. They make graphics processing units, GPUs they call. And one of their major clients, obviously, is NASA. NVIDIA are based in San Francisco. A very big company, a very successful company. Anyway, they wanted to, they had developed a new processing unit, which they wanted to publicize. And the way they did it is quite clever, actually. I've got to admire them for their the thought they put into it. They wanted to demonstrate the power that this new processing unit they developed had was by showing how it could recreate some of the photographs taken on the lunar surface. How it could recreate them, and in doing so would demonstrate that these photographs were completely natural. The lighting on the moon, obviously it's going to be slightly tricky to get it right, but if the lighting on the moon could be recreated, they could demonstrate that the photographs taken on the moon were obviously taken on the moon and not in some facility here on Earth.
Yeah.
That was the idea. And if they could use somebody like me who's, I don't know, I must be quite well known. And they approached me and asked me if I would take part in it. And I said, well, tell me what you're going to use, what you're going to do. I did get a bit suspicious of what they did. They wouldn't tell me what it was about. And I said, well, I'm not prepared to be filmed to take part in it unless you do tell me what it's about. And they said, we can't because it's a commercial secret. And I said, well, I'll sign a non-disclosure agreement. And they said, okay, sign a non-disclosure agreement. And then I read the non-disclosure agreement, and it meant that they could shut me up for 3 years talking about anything to do with it. So I thought, no, I'm not taking part with that, so I declined their kind invitation. But having said that, they still managed to use a clip of me in their film. Anyway, what they were trying to show was the film and photographs taken on the moon were quite natural. Now, as soon as they posted this film onto YouTube, which is where they put it, or on their website, first of all, just go to nvidia.com and check it out. And as soon as they put it up, people who are familiar with the subject started questioning it. Now, without getting too technical about the details, the reason that many of the photographs which I have questioned as being taken on the moon look strange is because it appears that they have a reflector or a secondary source of lighting to fill in the detail in the shadow part of the photograph. Now, that's why most cameras that you'd use today, and don't forget we're talking about film cameras here, we're not talking about digital cameras. And I know for many people it's a bit of a jump to go back to the 20th century where film cameras were used, but in order to explain this, it's necessary to do that.
Yeah.
A film camera usually had on it a flash gun, a built-in flash, or you'd put one on yourself. In order to fill in the detail of the shadow areas, if there was too much light, because film wasn't very good at distinguishing between highlights and shadows. You had to have a relatively compatible level of light between the highlight and the shadow. Hence, you had to have a flash gun to add light into the shadows so you could see what was there. Most of the argument is to do with, well, does the lunar surface itself act as a reflector to provide this amount of light to fill in the shadow details which we see in many of the photographs? And the answer is no, it doesn't. The lunar surface has the reflectivity of tarmac.
Okay.
So, if you go out and you want to take a photograph, and you're taking a photograph of somebody who has got the sun behind them, so the front of them and their face will be in shadow, would you say, oh, just come and stand on the road, we'll get enough reflection from that to fill in and show all the detail in your lovely face? No, you wouldn't, because tarmac doesn't have very high levels of reflectivity. And this was the argument. I know it's not supposed to be technical, but it is. In order to understand the argument about the faking of the moon landings, is that the evidence for those moon landings primarily rests with the photographs.
But then, but you saying that about the moon landing and the surface of the moon being like tarmac, you heard me, kind of like then makes an absolute mockery of them and their video, because they're talking about dust particles and reflective properties, and I don't know if this is a word that specifically was used for them, but they're talking about this opposition surge.
Well, what on the video film?
Yeah.
Yeah. What they don't tell you, and this is the key to it, and this is why it is so manipulated, what they don't tell you is in the recreation of the lunar surface, what level of reflectivity did they build into their computer?
Okay.
And somebody has done some very interesting research on it and has actually found in the film that NVIDIA created, and it appeared to show that the